I'm fairly certain that sometime in the recent history you've heard me criticize the hypocrisy of people looking at North Korea's tests of missiles and saying, oh, they're evil, they need to be contained, while the United States continues to test its own missiles and bombs and whatever else. The most recent being, of course, the fact that everybody's going ape over the fact that North Korea fired a missile over Japan, with now not just the United States, but virtually the rest of the world threatening some kind of military action against North Korea for this provocative action. But do you know what the United States did on August 8th? I mean, that was just a couple of weeks before we dropped our very own nuclear bomb. Now, this was actually, the nuclear portion wasn't active, but it's the new bomb. It's part of the modernization of the United States nuclear forces, something that has been in development for some time. The current bomb that we generally use, gravity bomb, has been in our stockpile since 1968. So, we're modernizing our nuclear weapon arsenal. This while, of course, Germany now is calling for the United States to get its nuclear weapons out of Europe. And the United States is just plowing full ahead with, well, we need to modernize our weapons, and so we're going to test our current capabilities. And most Americans seem to be like, yeah, that sounds reasonable. We'll just be testing our weapons and making sure that we're good to go to defend ourselves. And, of course, what does nuclear weapons do? They don't really so much defend ourselves as destroy everybody else. But, there are destructive weapons, and therefore it's defensive because they're ours. The fact that North Korea is trying to do the same thing, develop weapons that could destroy us, well, no, that's not acceptable. Why is it not acceptable? It's the same rationale that I see being applied toward people who want gun control, who want to take guns away from other people, saying that, well, we have to be able to decide there are certain people that just shouldn't have guns. Otherwise, totally reasonable people thinking that somehow they have a right to decide whether somebody else should be allowed to own a firearm. Do you want somebody to be able to decide what you can and cannot own? Maybe they think that you're not responsible enough as a driver. Maybe you shouldn't own a car. Maybe they think that you're not responsible enough as a parent and you shouldn't have any children. Do you see where I'm going with this? What's good for the goose ought to be good for the gander. If we think it's okay for us to develop weapons defensively or however else, then it ought to be good for everybody, and I think it is good for everybody, because you know what? An armed society is a polite society. I'm not talking about having a new arms race. I'm not talking about people arming themselves to the teeth and saying, come at me, bro. I'm talking about just in general, if you know that the other guy might be armed, maybe you'd be a little less likely to pick a fight. Something you think about right now with the whole world getting all twisted into a knot. You got a reaction? Send me an email, steve@radiofreespeech.com, or you can give me a call on the studio line, area code 907-458-0495. Let's talk about it.